Hey, wild woman, how are you? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining me on this quest to build an income after retirement. I, I say that kind of loosely because, listen, I still feel like I have hopefully I have a lot of years left on this planet, and there are still some things I want to do. So I might be gone from the job that I had for 30 whatever years, but that doesn't mean I'm completely done, right? So I wanted to talk to you a little bit today. I'm sitting out here at the park. Hopefully, this wind won't be too much of an annoyance for the audio. But I wanted to talk about something that is really the sort of entry level gateway into building a second income and testing out some things. And it's what I did during the pandemic. My timing wasn't all that great, but when you have all that time on your hands, all of a sudden it's like, well, why not? But if you don't know me, my name is Jules, and I am a retired social worker, and I am now sharing here on YouTube my quest to build an online income. I have shared a few of the steps that I have done already, and but today I want to talk about something that is kind of an entry point, something that it's not terribly difficult, and something that can be a lot of fun. You can earn money doing it. I would question whether it's worth it. And let's go through some things I wrote down about that. And that is to set up a booth or tables at a vendor fair, a craft fair, a flea market, whatever you call it in your area of the country. Around here, they're called vendor fairs or vendor shows. And for the most part. But what they are is people have products either that they have made or purchased wholesale, and they get together, usually maybe in a gymnasium, in a church social hall, outdoors, at a park or somewhere, and everybody sets up all their tables, and people come and shop a variety of businesses all at once. I like going to them. It's fun to see things. And for a while, I did participate in those as well. I had got onto a couple of wholesale sites. Excuse me, I have allergies. Pardon me, my goodness. This wind is kind of a little bit of annoying. But I did purchase some products wholesale at a couple of wholesale places online that you can find. One was called Abound, which has no longer exists, and one is called Fair. There are others called Jane. There's another one called Fashion Go. I mean, there's many. If you just go to any of your search engines and type in wholesale products, you will find these places, and they're great. They allow you, if you're not one who wants to actually make and manufacture the product, this is where you will find some really fun, awesome, original, cute, creative things. Now, so what you do is if you make something or you have purchased something to sell at these markets, then what you have to do is find a show coming near you that you can go and you can set up. And so that really requires a few different things. First of all, it's going to take you, you're going to have to go searching for these vendor fairs. I just went to Facebook and I got onto a couple of local Facebook groups in my area that are focused on sharing vendor events and sharing things coming up where they will want people to come and set up. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit of time. You'll want to check into those groups every day because they will post things, and then you can see what your schedule is, what those schedules are, where they are, if you can go to them, and then you need to figure out, are you going to go? Is it one day or 2 days? Is it a whole weekend? Are you going to need to spend the night? Is it far enough away that you can't drive home? If you drive home and go back and forth every single day, you have to count your setup time, your travel time, your meals. Do you need a helper with you? Because staying in a booth and being the only one there for 6 or 7 hours, you're going to have to take a bathroom break. And now what? what I have done at vendor fairs is that the person in the booth next to me, if they're alone, will just help each other out. Like, you watch my booth, I'll watch your booth, go to the restroom, whatever. And it can work out okay, but depending on where you are, it can also be really a challenge. If you're indoors, it's going to be a little bit simpler than if you're outdoors. Outdoors, you have to worry about, do I need a tent? Is it going to be windy? Do I need electricity? Where am I going to plug in my items? Do I need to have lights? Do I need to have electricity to run my payment process? Do we have access to Wi-Fi? All those things. So you really are going to want to think about a lot of the logistics of that. Not only where is it and how close is it to you, but what is it going to take to get there, to set up, to tear down, all of that. All of these vendor fairs, you don't set up for free. They charge you for a space, because whatever organization is doing it, of course, that's how they make their money, is by the fees that you pay to be part of it. It's not usually very much. I'm in the Midwest. It's $50 maybe, $40, not a tremendous amount. But you just want to build that into, am I making any profit? Okay. So here's what I found. Even though I love doing them because you get to see so many people and talk to them and share with them the things you have that you love and want to sell, but you get to see other people and what they're doing and what they're selling and support them, if you can or if you would like to. I always would make at least some purchases. But you don't want to spend all your money that would be profit for you at other people. You still want to come out. What I found is that I was not breaking even. And here's what happens. So you buy your products wholesale, and you have to, usually they tell you to, like if you buy something for $5, they'll tell you to sell it for 10. Fine. Now, maybe when you're at the vendor show, you want to run a bundle and you'll want to say 3 for 15 instead of, or whatever. Or you want to say, well, if I would normally sell this for $10, today only $7 each or something. And you're thinking, well, I'm still making a profit. Okay. Well, you might be. Yeah. But here's what I found. First of all, not only are you looking at where it's going to be, what the weather's going to be, if you need a tent, if you don't, what are you going to put your stuff on? You have to have display. You have to have tables. They need to be easy to transport and put up. Most of the time you're doing this all on your own, or if you or your spouse or your partner or your friend is doing it, but still you're going to need to be able to put it up and take it down quickly to load it in and out of your vehicle. You're going to need to have wagons or some other way to transport your products from your car into the location. Sometimes it's quite a good little walk. It's not like you can park at the door. And how big is this event? And where is it? A good size event in a little small town isn't going to get you all that much traffic necessarily. So you want to think about that. What are your competitors? Do you see on the list of vendors that there are people who are selling all the same things you are? Most of these vendor fairs now will have a limit of one specific product per event. For example, I know a bunch of them will say, we already have a Scentsy person. We already have a paparazzi person. We already have a, whatever it is. I don't even know anymore what all the things are. But they will allow only one person per event so that you don't have direct competitors right there, like Mary Kay or whatever. So they will allow one of a specific company like that. And a lot of times they will want you to say, what are you selling when you're here? Because they don't want 12 candle places. They don't want 12 people selling candles necessarily, unless there's something very unique, very different than the sort of normal stuff you find all over the place nowadays. I love candles as much as the next person, but now they give me a headache. So I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. And you want to see what your prices are. If you're selling items that are $1 or $2, you're going to have to sell a ton of stuff to make any kind of profit and return on your investment. How long is this vendor event going to last? Is it Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday? Is it Saturday only? Is it Sunday afternoon? If it's too long, it might be too much of a challenge to do, just physically too much. Um, Unless you have helpers. And if you have helpers, that's amazing. And you want to work out, how's that going to work? What days, what times, and all of that. Um, the other thing is, how far away is it? Can you drive back and forth every day to it? Is it far enough that you're going to need a hotel, or is it in that crazy sort of middle distance where you are close but not close enough? Like if it's a 2 hour drive each way, you're not going to want to do that at 5 o'clock on a Sunday morning to get there and get set up by 8. So just be aware of that. If you have to have a hotel, of course, you have to consider that expense, and be prepared to have your receipts and all of those things ultimately for the end of the year when you're doing tax reporting. But even so, even if you can put it on your taxes as an expense, but you're just losing hundreds of dollars by doing that, it may not be worth it. It depends on your product and what you're selling, and how much of a brand is it versus, are you creating something that's going to build a hardcore loyal following, or are you selling, average everyday things that people will want to have or whatever. Um, some of these events do really well when they have small consumables like handmade candies and things like that. But again, how much time is it taking for you to manufacture those, make those, create those, wrap those, package those, versus how much are you charging for them? And, what is it, what is the return on that? Um, what I found was the products I was selling were popular, but my market was different than some of these vendor shows. You never know who your customer base is going to be and what they're going to be looking for. So if your customer base isn't looking for the things you're selling, you may not do very well. What I figured out, even when I would go to one of these events and I'd feel like I had a really good day, like I'd be like, yeah, I sold quite a bit. I think I had a really good day. Once I would sit down and figure out, how long did I take to prep? How long did it take me to set up my payment systems? How long did it take me to get a cash box and get cash, for it? How much time did it take me to load my car, get my product ready, get my display products ready? Because you want to have different levels on your display. You don't want everything just flat on a table. You want to have some high, some low. Um, the kids are having a blast over there on the swings. I don't know if you can hear them. So once I figured out all the time between all the setup, all the prep, all the driving there, setting back up, tearing down, putting it back in my car, driving back home, I was making like 30 cents an hour. It was, and that wasn't even taking into account the expense of the booth and all that. So for me, I did not find that it was the investment, or the return was not offsetting the investment. I mean, I could work anywhere else for 10 or 12 or $13 an hour at this point. If I was going to spend all those hours for 30 cents an hour, like, who would do that? That's just silly. Now, again, some of these events are like local, small community things. Now, if you're a community member there and people know you for making caramels at the holiday time, then by all means go and set up where you make the good candy or whatever. You will have a return on that. But just think ahead about, that it's going to be the fit that's going to be great for you and what you are specifically selling, right? So that is just some things I wanted to talk with you a little bit about today, to have you consider when you are looking at ways to make a second income or an additional income or an income in your retirement. There's nothing wrong with doing these things. They're a lot of fun. I enjoy them. But for me at that time, I did not find it worth it. Now, things might be different now. I haven't looked into it in quite a while. But at this point, I think I'm just ready to do and try some other things. So Please leave any questions you have down below and let me know, because then I will try to answer those or get information about those. Let me tell you before I sign off on a few of other things that have been happening around here. So, the other day, my dog jumped off the bed and tore her ACL. So we've been at the ER, the vet ER, and she's maybe having to have surgery at some point coming up. Right now, she's got some pain meds, and we're going to give it a couple of weeks and see what happens, how things go. I have had to have a dog have this surgery in the past. It did not go well. It is one of those surgeries that sometimes works and sometimes doesn't for dogs. So anyway, that's kind of been taking up some time. I have two dogs. I mean, not just me, like I have a husband, but he's gone working most of the time. So he doesn't do any dog care. Like literally none. Bless his heart. He's got it made. I'm teasing. But I have another dog who is almost 13 years old, and his health is declining fairly rapidly at this point. He's a lab. The average lifespan of a lab is about 12 years. So he is, I mean, you can tell he's struggling. He's on a couple of pain meds. He's hard of hearing. He's starting to lose his eyesight. You know how that goes. So I don't like to be gone away from my house long periods of time at this point, just because of the state of these animals. I don't want to, people with dogs and pets, I mean, right? You don't want to be away and too long, and, in case something were to happen or go worse or just whatever, it just would not be good. The other thing that's been going on is I'm still working on those kitchen cabinets, trying to paint those and get some things done on the inside before in September. Hopefully our sunroom will be replaced at that point after it was damaged in the storm last summer. It's been more than a year now, and we're still waiting for that to happen. And I've been doing some acting workshops, and my agent has had me set up on a couple of things here recently, which was a lot of fun. So that's what's going on in my life other than this, setting up an online business. So hopefully later today I can get moving some more on that. I have designed some like t-shirt graphics that I want to put up, and of course, I'm going to do some things that are more classic and some things that are like trending topics and things. You want to I feel like I just want to have a mix of things. And once you make the designs, you just like make it and put it up, and then it's ready to go all the time, especially when you're doing like the print on demand, or if you're printing at home, or you have some kind of way to do the press at home. Once making the designs takes longer than anything, but once you've got them, they're there and you can use them, rotate them for holidays, all kinds of things. So next time I come on, I want to talk specifically about some of the places, some of the ways, where do you go to design a graphic, and how do you get that done? Like, where do you go? What are some places that will do that and print those things for you and ship them and stuff? If you were like me and don't have space enough at home to do it, where do you do it? Like, who does that? So we'll talk more about that. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your encouragement and support. And please give me a like and a share to let somebody else maybe see this that is considering doing an online business of some kind. And I will do what I can to cheer for you and support you as well. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon.